And two, three. Yes, we're live. Thank you so much, Comrade Ayo, for joining me. Good evening, guys, and welcome to Update with Precious. It's another beautiful day, and it's always exciting to be with you and to bring you abreast of what's happening in Nigeria. So we just talk about things we get to do with our country. Ayoyinka, I appreciate you so much for joining us on the
Thank you
show
very
today.
much.
And hopefully, we'll have a second guest who's a lawyer who'll be joining us from Port Harcourt, Barrister Kine, because it's hot in Port Harcourt and Lagos today. So we want to, get the full check of what's going on both in Port Harcourt and Lagos. So on the news this evening, it started with Lagos State, where we did hear that, Miranda had, first of all, that they were having a meeting outside the chamber and Obasa was absent. Then the next thing we heard was that, Obasa stormed the meeting with these, in the, outside the chamber with them. Then the next thing we heard was that Madam Miranda has resigned. And then we now heard that Obasa has been nominated. And then he's also been sworn in. And then in Rivers State, we heard that our supporters of Fubara were protesting and saying that they no go agree. They want Fubara to come back. They will not agree with what's going on in Rivers State with Wike's people. Not forgetting that Wike was also praising God and thanking God, doing Thanksgiving, about what's going on in Rivers State and the fact that court has finally given verdicts to his support. And then the new the House of Assembly members in Rivers State giving Fubara 48 hours to represent the 2025 appropriation bill to him, or they may impeach him. But Fubara this evening has not spoken and said that he may pay the ultimate price, which is leaving office just for peace to reign. Let's start with Lagos State first. I have a lawyer. I have a lawyer joining us to um, bring us up to date with what's going on in River State. But let's have you jumping on what's going on with what's it, Lagos State now. Were you surprised to see the outcome of events pan out this way in Lagos? Remember, there's been a lot of gossip going on. You understand? I started with the gossip of Obasa's removal to the gossip of we hearing that the wife said that, she's the one that insisted that he shouldn't be arrested when he came back into the town, to the gossip of the fact that we hear that the president actually wants him to take back the position and to resign honorably because the guy is saying no good agree. So do you think that this resignation and of Miranda and him coming back to office may just be paving way for him to now resign honorably for peace to reign?
Well, I will always want to always start to tell Nigerians and Lagosians especially that what has been happening in Lagos rather in the last few months or weeks is a joke. It's not democracy. It's a disrespect to Lagosians. It's a joke to a so-called lawmaker house, which is the Lagos State House of Assembly.
Mm.
And having said that, it's paramount for us to understand that we now need to fight to get a better system. That is not how a system works. We have all seen how speakers, prime ministers have been impeached or removed in a same climb, and it doesn't go through all this process. There's no GAC anywhere or president or whatever. Everything is debated at the floor, and evidence will prevail for if the prime minister or the speaker will be impeached or not.
Hmm.
Now, to the drama in Lagos, it is not surprising and it is expected. What some
How
of us
expected?
do, yes, well, because that has been the game of APC from time immemorial. It's not different. There's no democracy in the party itself. APC, there's no
Mm.
democracy. It is Baba Sokwe, you know. There's no democracy party, and that extends that they don't even want there to be a democratic process in Lagos. As you know, the APC members have a majority in the house. I think maybe we have somebody
Yes.
in Labour. So basically, what goes on there is just an APC discussion, which is a joke. So there's nothing surprising. It was all expected. What some of us was just I've just been telling them is that conclude this your joke in your party and let's go back to state duties. You are
Hmm.
wasting time. Abuja local government election of 2026, the timetable and the issues have started coming out already. That of Lagos in 3 months, nothing. Yeah, so it is expected. But to give analysis of the behavior of Obasa is clearly to let you know that they are uh, uh, what we call career politicians, and there are people that just mistakenly find themselves there.
Hmm.
Obasa is a career politician. He has nothing else that he has been doing for the past 25 years or more than playing politics, and not politics for the people anyway, the politics of who controls that. So that is what he has set into motion immediately. What happened, you get. And for the result to now turn out like this, we all see that they are jokers. Are they jokers? You sat without his presence, and you alleged him of some things, and you removed him. He came back claiming he should not be removed. You couldn't go to that same floor that you removed him and discuss it, either to say, yes, we have all the right to remove you, this is it, and we will retain that statement, or probably fight it back. You know, you all started your jamboree politics. The same GAC that said it openly, through even one of their members that had an interview on the TV, that Obasa has done enough, he's not respecting people anymore, that
Yes.
removed him. It's that
Yes.
same GAC that still sat and said that he should go back. Can't you see that these people are jokers? They are mess up people. They are people that cannot keep to their word. People that don't. What is most irritating is the fact that they have no care about the masses, about what Lagosians are saying. They don't want to represent you. They don't care how you perceive them. So it's just a sign that we need to get out of this mess of democracy in which we are calling democracy, and get the right people into power. But there's nothing surprising. Obasa fought. You see that the woman sang a song before she stood up.
Yes.
Yoruba. The summary of that song is that you people push me, push me. And you
Oh.
don't tell me that this is how it is. Now you
Oh.
have not left me.
Oh, so but it's shocking. Let me bring. I have my second guest joining me, Barrister Henry Kine. Let's bring him on board. Barrister Kine, thank you so much for joining us. Good evening and welcome. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you.
So I'm
Thank
sure
you
you've
for
heard all the drama going on. We will come to what is going on in River State, but since we're dealing with Lagos State, let's just go back to Lagos State. I don't want to say this is all a drama. I don't know if this is a beautiful precedent or a wrong precedent that Lagos State, for the first time in its history, is having a speaker removed in less than 3 months and replaced again. In less than 3 months, the same person is replaced again as a speaker. What does this tell about legislative system and democracy generally in Nigeria?
I think for me, it's a threat to democracy. And again, it's worrisome, really so, because the fundamental question I would ask is, who are the members of the House of Assembly, Lagos State House of Assembly, that voted the speaker, I mean the Miranda speaker, and then
Yes,
if
36 of them had voted how, and exactly.
and then the same members would have voted for the removal of Obasa, and then
Absolutely.
absolutely, and then in just after a few weeks, the same members have turned now, but they are actually again going to vote Obasa back, or to resign their earlier decision. So all of these, for me, I wonder the kind of persons and characters that we get into public offices, especially as legislators in this country, in our respective houses of assembly, where we have not even talked about the avoidable, non-existent crisis in the Rivers State House of Assembly and where we are. So happening again in Lagos, and we are talking about legislators who ideally should be some kind of statesmen when they leave office at the expiration of their tenure. But this is what we are seeing. So having said that, I would also want to interrogate the process of the change in pattern. Is Miranda resigning? Did she resign from a speakership position just after a few weeks that she has been elected, and she accepted, and she stood all the storm. We watched across the country, and what has happened? What's happening behind? One day you'll be surprised that she will come and tell her story behind the scenes. Is she being compelled to do what she's doing? If it's probably just acted in such a way that she should resign, then I don't think that that resignation will be voluntary, or I do not think that it will be out of her will, because there is nothing that has not happened amongst politicians here. We have had situations where Nigerian politicians have even devised a means of giving public officers certain forms of resignation even before they are sent to offices, so that when you dissatisfy them, or when you probably are not playing according to their will, those who are probably godfathers, they will just bring your resignation letter that you signed upon assumption of office and then show you the way out. Or in this case, if she resigned, what led to the resignation? What happened? Is she being coerced behind the scenes? And then when Obasa returned from abroad, we heard that he actually filed a suit at some point. And then we also heard that that suit was subjudice, was still in the, I don't even think that even now it has been discontinued and withdrawn. And then these same 35 members stormed the court for Miranda in support of their speaker, Madam Speaker. So again, like the guests, my colleague, the other end, was that this drama and this unhealthy to democracy, and of course, for me, it's unfortunate, really.
All right, so Ayoyinka, what do we see playing out now in Lagos State? First of all, you know the back and forth. At some point, we heard that GAC in Lagos State was divided, and then later on, we now heard that there is this subtle call from the presidency that Obasa needs to be reinstated so that he doesn't leave as embarrassing as he left. And remember, I don't know if you recall some videos that had played in the past where people said, in fact, let me play that video, because I have a video where somebody was speaking yesterday in the protests last week, you know, when they stormed the house last week. The person was saying, let them just allow him sit back, come back, and then he will resign honorably because they're preparing him to be the speaker of the whole Nigeria come 2027. Let's take a listen to that, because it's important that, you know, we let facts know. Do you think that this person may just be speaking, you know, ignorantly, or could it be that there's actually an underground plan? That's the reason why he spoke this way.
He has served a lot, not now. A sixth time honorable member in the Lagos State House of Assembly. For him alone, it's not an easy thing. Nobody asks the 32 colleagues not to even impeach him. You can do that. Obasa have served a lot from the time of XDP. That's when Obasa have been serving the Lagos State. It belongs to Asiwaju movement. It belongs to all the party. He has worked for the grassroots. Now we are here because of me. We are here probably because of Obasa for the reinstatement. Yoruba do make one proverb that I'm speaking. I'm honorable representing Alimosho Igbedimu constituency 2. I'm a councillor. I'm aspiring as a councillor. So we are here to prove our support. We belong to Asiwaju mandate. We are TMM, the mandate movement of Alimosho local government, and we represent Asiwaju Bola Ahmed. He's our leader. He's an amiable leader. He has worked, and he told them that he will receive this man back. We appreciate all our leaders that came from the southwest, Baba Konde and Ashoba. Same blessing to them. We appreciate them. Just for them to allow this guy to come back and finish. Let him come back, return his office back, then resign later. So that's why you can see more people. We are many people who are still coming. More people who are coming. It's an impromptu arrangement. So we are all here for the reinstatement of Asiwaju Omo Arole Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president that will expire in 2031. Obasa is coming back as the sitting and as the speaker of Nigeria, the Federation as a whole. We want him back to come back as the 11th member of the Lagos State House of Assembly. Obasa must come back. My name is Honorable Samuel Olamilekon Adebamowo, the incoming councillor. Ward B Egbedimu. I belong to it. So respect. We love everybody. God bless you. Thank you.
I saw you shaking your head that you could not even take it, Vice Sekine. Ayoyinka, what do you think? So do you think that this whole drama that played out today has always been the plan, based on what this young man said. Because if he's member of Obasa's inner caucus or kitchen cabinet, that means he's deliberately privy to some information, whether we like it or not. So, do you think that this thing he said now, waiting they don't already plan finish? Remember, see that same last week. Obasa, after this storming, this drama will happen. Obasa come out, they tell people, say, Miranda bin don't agree to step down. You remember, you heard that, right? Saying Miranda bin agreed to step down. Saying, now waiting make them withdraw her security from her because she should be endorsed step down. And remember, say people they talk, say there is no way Obasa would have all of these security details that he's controlling without the approval from federal government. So what do you think played out here?
First of all, I just hope people in Egbedimo are not planning to vote that one as their councillor. We are really survived in this country. So yes, like I said, there's nothing special going on. There's no democracy. There's no law going on. It is basically just an APC arrangement. That is it. They have had their inner caucus meeting. They have promised themselves something. You step down, we'll do this for you. You will be there. We'll make the plan so that everybody will be happy and all that. So she has already been discussed with before she got to see all the things that they did today. All the videos online is just the drama that they need to present to the public. You know, that's just what they're doing. Because just like Barrister here said, what did they actually even do legally in that house? Is it that they voted again for a speaker? Who voted who? What do you understand? So what did they even do? Or she resigned? So they are just confused. But basically what they want to do is that they have made an arrangement on Meranda, this is what I'm going to do for you. Sorry for the embarrassment, but we have to save Obasa's head for now. We can't embarrass him. He's a strong power in Lagos. We have to prepare for 2027, you know, so that we continue to have that strength till we get 2027. Let him just stay there. Probably will not resign later. So it's an arrangement. It's an arrangement, and it is sad. That's what we are saying. You know, it is clearly an arrangement. And when the arrangement, because the plan of the GAC in Lagos, within Lagos, was to tone down the strength of Obasa, which was clear. It was clear that the GAC, that was their plan.
To tone down the
together with the governor.
Remember they complained about his high-handedness.
Yes, because he made a statement in the house where he was saying all the people that have been governor, they are not better than him. That was just the one that he did. Imagine using the floor of the house to discuss us. That was just the one that he did in public. There have been other issues that he has had. Say probably the governor, because of meeting, will not come and all that. So that was the plan to do. So if he had quietly gone, you know, like a regular new breed politician, all this would have ended. She would have continued. But he did not, obviously, you know. And in those things that he was brewing, he's not showing strength for the party. So they needed to play their game. And when the game was not enough to be done within Lagos, they had to import their people outside of Lagos, Akande and the rest. Who sent them? It's Tinubu that sent them. Nothing special, you know, to make arrangements on how to settle everybody. So they are settled everybody. The only people that might be grumbling on the ground because they know that Obasa will come for them are the 34 that voted him out.
86 actually. Okay, well.
Those are the people that they know that something is coming because they are not part of the arrangement. The arrangement is Obasa and Meranda.
But he don't talk saying no go victimize anybody. Saying no, saying
no, that is
he don't go do anything. You think it's a political statement?
He's speaking in a political statement. We know. Look at those people. Look at the arrogance. Look at the way he took the mic from the lady that wanted to hold the mic from him. Those guys are not leaders. If you watch that video, when that woman came, he just collected the mic. You see, so it's sad. And look at the interviews. Look at the way he speaks. We are not practicing democracy. It's just joke. If you can call it joke democracy, you can call it clip, whatever name you can just profound for it. That's what the APC government is doing all over the country and majorly in Lagos. Lagos is suffering so much from this because somebody set that precedent, which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But I thought you people said that Lagos was working and it was a shining example. Lagos and that's why we voted President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
It is a, you know, when a mud house that you paint, that's what Lagos is. People are suffering. Presently now, the Lagosians are crying about rent. You continue to hear the noise, it will be increasing. people are struggling under the load of rent increment, and there are laws. There are the tenancy law that guide all these things to regulate and to make sure that everybody is okay, both tenant and landlord. Everybody has left the tenants to be suffering. It's so bad. These are the people that should be using all those laws to protect the citizens, those lawmakers. What have they been doing for the past months? Joke. Just plain jokes and just disturbing us with noise that has no effect on the people. Look at the number of crowd that they brought to that place, and they are paid them 2,000 naira to come and protest for Obasa. Those are the massive suffering. You are suffering, you are still protesting on behalf of your oppressors. So Lagos is a joke. Lagos set the precedent for the terrible democracy that we are experiencing all over the country today.
Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa. So let me call to you, Barrister Kine. I see you shaking your head. Unfortunately, we can't help the situation. But Lagos State has always been used as an example. During the 2023 election, the president cited the success of Lagos State as what he will replicate in the entire country. And we were all proud of it. To talk, say, because in Lagos State don't work, we'll carry them on. And a lot of people, they also compare the talk, say no state we don't do as effective and as functional as Lagos State. With all this kind of thing where they happen, waiting be the thing we tell about our democracy for Nigeria, if this is the best example we can give anyway.
Well, unfortunately, I think there was a certain Macpherson who wrote The Real World of Democracy and proposed that there are variants of democracy. It does appear that the variant that the Nigerian political leaders are practicing is not in existence yet anywhere in the world. It's unfortunate. So I wonder how we can actually
so we have our own species of democracy.
It does appear that our special democracy is not existing anywhere in the world. So it's unfortunate. Otherwise, the examples do not show any semblance of democracy. Whether you take the case in Lagos or the case in Rivers State or the case in Osun State or in other parts of the country, then you would just be worried whether we really are a democratic society. But I've always said, and I agree with my colleague, that we aren't a democratic society. We really are probably aspiring to be a democracy. Nigeria is not a democratic state, but an aspiring democracy, as a matter of fact. A country that does not uphold the rule of law, a country that will jettison the constitution to suit certain powerful individuals. I can give examples. We interpret our constitution just to suit, even at the highest level of the judiciary that is vested with the power to interpret the constitution. We can't forget so quickly what happened post-election, all the matters around the president, and then the tribunals, and finally the decision of the Supreme Court. Nigerians just will very quickly wave things by the side, but we don't forget. That's because we really do not seem to care about them. We have come to understand them. We know that indeed they are just dramatists, really, on the stage. And at best, they will act, play their roles at one time, and at another time, they will leave the stage. But otherwise, it's not a democracy. Now, again, how many members are truly in the Lagos State House of Assembly? I was just going to ask that. If 35 or 36 voted out a speaker, there are 40. That's
absolutely correct. Am I correct? There are about 40 of them, yes.
40 constituencies. And then 35, 36 is a near absolute majority of it.
Yes, absolutely.
More than even what is required of 2/3. And then they removed somebody. And you know what? It's a mockery of the Lagos State House of Assembly that external individuals will interfere with the decision of the honorable members of the Lagos State House of Assembly in the form of political solution. Even in the case of Rivers State, Precious, I've talked with you before, and then I've said sometimes when we seek to interpret constitutional provisions and statutory provisions, I wonder where we will import what the so-called political solution. What is political solution? Where is that enshrined? Whose discretion is that? Who defines the solution? What are the parameters really? So somebody stays somewhere in Abuja and directs somebody somewhere in some of the southwestern states and say, go to Lagos State House of Assembly and intervene in a purely constitutional matter.
Barrister Kine, let's get something clear. There is an institution called the Government Advisory Council in Lagos State. And this is the body that was put together by Bola Ahmed Tinubu as far back as 1999, when he became the governor of Lagos State at that time, as a governing body that would, advise and spearhead the leadership problems in Lagos State. So it's become institutionalized in Lagos State. And they are like elder statesmen put together who, now then they advise, now then they call the shots of things when they happen for Lagos State. So now the structure where Lagos States don't put be that. Not be say them be outsiders. So now the governing, and usually Bola Ahmed Tinubu hates that advisory council. Do you understand, sir?
I do understand. I've read about the GSC. There's no oligarchy or democracy that they practice in legal states.
I don't know.
So that's it. So now, can we then juxtapose the powers of that JSC and then the powers vested in the members of the House of Assembly by the Constitution? And that is what we're talking about democracy here. We're not saying that these leaders will not concoct something, or if you like, some contraption in the way that they would want to use to defend their inadequacies and excesses. So the GSC, howsoever called, is an advisory institution or body of individuals, but they cannot override the extant provisions of the Constitution that vest the power in the members of the House of Assembly exclusively alone to elect for themselves who should be their speaker. In the case of Rivers State, when I had advanced this resentment about political solutions, some say, but there is APRO, alternative dispute resolution mechanism, where the provisions of the law are extant. Even when you want to deploy the mechanisms, alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, you have to do so in compliance with extant provisions of law. ATRO is not running contrary with provisions of the law. So the GSC cannot also overturn our laws. The GSC should have rather, what was difficult for the GSC to advise Obasa to say that, look, we are guided by the Constitution and we are all statesmen that are under responsibility to uphold the provisions of the Constitution. Since 36 out of 40 members of the House have voted, and truly so, they have the power to determine who becomes the speaker. And they have done so, meaning that they have also held something against you. Why not walk away? Why wasn't that advice given in that direction? But the advice should be such that, hey, gentlemen, we discountenance and disregard your powers as legislators to determine who should be your speaker. Let us be the ones to determine who will be your speaker, by suggesting that Obasa should be your speaker, probably by all means. And then forget that story of letting come temporarily just to protect his guard, his integrity. If he had won, the 36 members would not have voted him out. So you want to protect an integrity that does not exist. You're not one of those that sits with them. I don't know him, but when we analyze constitutional provisions and the goings on in our democracy, because we want to consolidate democracy anywhere in this country, then it becomes worrisome to see that otherwise tomorrow, even after we conduct elections and vote people, they are just there for the purpose of conducting elections to have them there. Some other people are deciding what happens in the House of Assembly. Is that the democracy we want to run? So we should alter the Constitution to provide for the GSC and also vest certain aspects of the power in them to intervene as a third level in determining the affairs of the House of Assembly in the states. But that's not what it is.
Yeah, one of the things we make them want come out and for is they say in they high-handed. That is in they do anyhow. If they spend money anyhow, you go just allocate money anyhow, spend the money. So right now when they bring them back, does it mean that all those corruption cases against him has been wiped off? Or he never actually stole money anyway? Or he never was high-handed?
They have said that he's a powerful man and that they should protect his integrity and his image. Oh, not integrity here. Protect his power to be able to, I don't know what that gentleman meant by the speaker of the entire country. I do not know whether Mr. President is planning to restructure Nigeria that somebody will be the speaker of the entire country or the Senate president. You don't know in Lagos whether they are preparing him to go become the next Senate president or the speaker of the House of Representatives. So, but if it did, that's the plan. It means that what the 36 members in the Lagos House of Assembly have shown to all of us in Nigeria is that, hey, this gentleman has some questions to answer.
All right. So before we get to River State case, where I need you very well, and then before I let you go, Comrade Ayoyinka, you know how Obasa rose to fame. That is, but his father was like the afar in charge of the Agege axis. And after Aregbesola exit from Lagos politics, as it were, he took over. He extended to the what do they call it, Alimosho axis and all that. And then from his father, he just went to school, just fresh out of school. He was meant to, get into political position. So do you think that perhaps he just feels a bit too entitled? Because that's one of the things people think about him. Because it be like saying, Papa, through in Papa influence, now you just get position. You understand? So you feel saying they're a bit entitled because amongst all his siblings, it be like saying only Liam occupies such political position. And you don't like saying waiting, make people talk, say they high-handed, like people are saying, or some members of the house were insinuating earlier.
Obasa was one of the early thugs in Lagos. That is
Early
what Obasa
thugs?
is. Yes.
Oh, wow.
In fact, and it has not left his body. You can see the way he's talking. In 2018, 2019, when we were building our party in Lagos, it was one of the people that mobilized boys to come and meet us and say, we are disturbing him. Disturbing Tinubu, we are disturbing APC. So all these people, and that is how they get there, like you said, religious influence. You understand? And he has been in the house for a long time. But you see, just like Barrister has explained, if you have a party issue, go and discuss it in your party. It is shameful, it is embarrassing, it is pathetic that the GAC will come and tell honorable members to withdraw the decision that they have made. If that decision was ever going to be withdrawn, it should have been done in the house and debated. But because it was a GAC idea from beginning, because the members of the house are also babies and men without spine, that they're just giving position to just go there and represent themselves and probably their party a little, they can't make any decision. Look at the interview they did after they heard that Obasa is coming back. They said, we're not saying that I cannot come back, but our fathers, the GAC, they should call us and tell us.
I don't want to play that. Should I play it so the Nigerians will hear? I don't want to play that because it was like a joke. It was like they have not consulted. If they told us, they know that they tell us what to do. We will do it.
We'll do it.
So it was like they really don't have a say.
Go there, move there. Boys, all of them. Obasa is also a boy, but he's a boy that has been there longer than those people. So it's not, many of those people cannot match him. People that can match him, they are not many. So he has shown his power. Boy democracy. That's what we are doing. These are the people that are managing our laws. These are the lawmakers. What will the citizen get from those people? It's shameful. It's shameful. So that is what has happened. That's what has played out. And what I want the Lagosians to see is that they do not have any democracy. So if they find themselves on the ballot again, or they want to hit the street, these are the things to demand for. These are the things to change. If you go back, what has happened in Lagos for the past few months, if you have an opportunity to vote again, and you're still voting these kind of people, there's something wrong somewhere with you. Not only them, they know the problem, they have it. You yourself. There's something wrong when you keep on making the same decision.
You calm down. You they talk, say when they make decision. People they even talk, say their votes need they count. You know, say even the people the assembly members and themselves not even agree say them vote them in. They say they bring them, they put us here, they brought us here, like they actually cherry picked them and put into those positions. So are they really voted for?
But you know, some people actually vote for them, except you have not. Yes, except you have not participated properly in like Lagos election. Some people actually vote for them. See, you cannot rig without an element of vote. You have to have something to rig on. They don't dare rig when masses don't vote for them. When few people vote, they press the remaining. People vote for them. People take 1,000, 500, 2,000, sometimes Indomie, 2 packs. People vote for these people. And we have to speak to the conscience of Nigerians. When
Now,
people
wait till they
continue
talk
to,
every day now.
yes, when people continue to be misusing the system and the power that are given to them regularly, imagine if these lawmakers have been in the house for 2 weeks debating how they will reduce the rent in Lagos. Imagine how Lagosians will be happy when it is hot and we are all watching it. I can debate it. No, the rent must come down. This is how we do it. What has been happening for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks? They are talking about speaker remove, deputy come, speaker remove. Nothing serious, nothing concrete. And a GAC, an unconstitutional group of people in a party, giving the House of elected members of an House of Assembly to change the decision that they have made at the floor of the House. A joke of a democracy. Shame on them.
Whoa. Thank you, Comrade Ayoyinka. But let's go straight to you, Barrister Kine, with what is playing out in River State. I don't want to say the insistence of, I don't know as I could use Putam. First of all, your former governor, our former governor, sadly it's my state, had a Thanksgiving service. You happy where they do prayer and fasting, prayer and worship, then come do party later on to thank God for the Supreme Court judgments. Why did they happy say Supreme Courts don't give judgment? In fact, that Supreme Court said an entire state should not be paid allocation, meaning that the state will not run. And we're doing Thanksgiving and praising God. I don't even want to go to that angle. But let's go straight to the fact that it looks like there is a subtle plan for a one-party system in Nigeria. Remember that the leader of the APC, that is the chairman of APC, Gandoji, had once said that they would gradually capture all states. His words were capture all states. I don't know if I made a mistake in the word I used, choice of word, because I remember saying I capture, now he said they go capture all states. Now, we're waiting to play out for River State. You think it's another systematic way of capturing all states, even though Wike is still in PDP. Let's have your response to that. Then we'll begin to delve into exactly what played out in River State today.
Yes, it's unfortunate. Again, that kind of utterance by the leader of a political party clearly shows how undemocratic the individual is. And then clearly, again, how undemocratic that political party would be. And their agenda or their objective to stifle all other political parties and again make Nigeria a one-party state. And the threats of that is that we'll have a dictatorial system. A one-party state in a democracy is not healthy. The competition isn't there. The option is not there. The opportunity to express yourself contrary to the views of that political party wouldn't be there, and that's worrisome. But in clear, I think they're actually acting it out. Indeed, the intention to capture states across the country. Osun State is the latest example to want to capture the state. In River State, they have started this since 2023. Yes, since 2023, that this unnecessary crisis had actually brewed in River State, and because there is really nothing that anybody can hold on to say this is the offense that Mr. Governor committed, or that this is a problem that we really are seeking to address in River State, so that we know who indeed is for the people and who is against the people. Now, the former governor of River State and now the minister of the Federal Capital Territory has recently not pretended at all that he is in support of the crisis in River State. Because each time these decisions are given against the interests of the people, not just about the governor, he celebrates. I didn't even know that there was this party and Thanksgiving with respect to the decision of the Supreme Court. But I watched on...
Now let me see him. Ayo, you not see him.
Never see him. God is tired of our regular Thanksgiving.
You feel like some Procodi another level.
I'm telling you, I saw when he arrived at the airport that evening, I saw when he granted some press, if you like, interview with respect to the decision and clearly celebrating the decision. But let me quickly imagine here, asking some rhetorical question. What was he celebrated? Was it the decision of the Supreme Court restraining the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Accountant General of the Federation, and perhaps any other institution from disbursing statutory, constitutional fund belonging to River State? That alone is another question, really. Whether it was ordered by the Supreme Court. You know, we say in law that the Supreme Court is final, not because it is infallible or the justices are incapable of making mistakes. To render River State impoverished and even deepen and worsen the multi-dimensional poverty that is aching the entire country, River State being a part of, then you say as if this money from FAC belongs to Fubara, or you are punishing the entire River State. And again, I'm not even imagined the implication of delivering a judgment in the first instance in a civil suit and then pronouncing some sort of punishment. Maybe that's a new jurisprudence, but that is the decision of the justice of the Supreme Court with respect to them, absolutely. But my concern is then, why will a Rivers man, even if you are a judgment creditor in that suit, that is the beneficiary of that judgment, then you celebrate. There are some favors that will be done to you, and if you're sincere and you imagine the detriment to another person, you will take it with reservation. But here, it's just like the story of Solomon in the Bible, where the ladies were involved and then the little child. Because you know
exactly
that what you're going after is just for the spoils. You don't mind whether the child.
Interestingly, somebody used this exact example. I think that would be a Kenneth Okonkwo. He used this exact example that
really?
Solomon and the exactly to analyze the River State.
So there are people who are ready to run River State aground, provided they either succeed in their interest, or if they are not going to succeed in their interest, then everybody should go down. So for me, it's disturbing, and that's the pitiable situation in River State. But let us look at the Supreme Court decision again.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Apart from the order restraining the Central Bank and the Accountant General of the Federation from disbursing constitutional funds to River State, that Martin Ameule and the other elected members of the River State House of Assembly should resume sitting. In my view, the crisis in River State has been a legislative crisis again, just like in Lagos. It is crisis within the River State House of Assembly about the legitimacy of certain members, and then who indeed is the Speaker of the River State House of Assembly. It's not about the judiciary, it's not about the executive. I would expect that everybody in the country would understand that in River State, the governor has no issue about the legitimacy of his office. The chief judge of River State has no problem whatsoever. The executive arm is running on, cabinet meets, the executive is implementing policies and enforcing and implementing laws. The judiciary is interpreting laws, the courts are sitting. It is in the River State House of Assembly that we have some individuals who, by their actions and pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution and decisions of the Supreme Court, ought not to be members of the River State House of Assembly anymore, except if elections are conducted by INEC again and they contest and their constituents re-elect them. But on Friday, with the wisdom of the justices of the Supreme Court, they have been ordered to resume sitting, whether it is temporary in the interim, because there are other appeals that are subsisting before the Supreme Court to decide that will also, one way or another, affect their legitimacy, their membership, and the speakership of Martin Ameule. So, but as it is at the moment, that's what it is. And because of the finality of the Supreme Court, we just have to obey. And that's why the governor, in addressing the state, had said that when he receives the opinion of his legal team, upon their receipt of the judgment and the order of the Supreme Court, perhaps on Friday, that he was going to comply without reservation because the Supreme Court is final. Now, the implication of this back in the state is that Martin Ameule and the other elected members have resumed sitting. And what is their primary function? Is to make laws, amend laws, review laws, and probably consolidate laws. I have said that the primary responsibility of any legislature is to make laws, amend existing laws, consolidate existing laws, and repeal certain laws. And then ultimately to oversight public fund in terms of expenditure and to regulate the expenditure of public funds. That is what gives them the power to oversight also ministries, departments, and agencies of government where they appropriate funds or legislate the appropriating of funds to those agencies. Basically, to see how those funds have been utilized or to see where there may be need for further legislation or there may be need for more appropriation of funds. That's it. So it is not for the legislature to take over the functions of the executive. It is the exclusive power and function of the governor under section 121 of the Constitution to prepare and lay appropriation bill before a House of Assembly, whether it's in Lagos or Zamfara, whether it is in Goso or in Bayelsa, whether it is in Plateau or in River State. It is the exclusive function and power of the governor. And the Supreme Court cannot even take that away from the governor. The House of Assembly cannot take that away from the governor. So the governor has that function to perform. The question is, has he performed that function? And the answer is yes. But the Supreme Court today has said, in performing that constitutional function for the 2025 fiscal year, make sure that the appropriation bill is laid before the House of Assembly that is properly constituted. But today, we read and heard in the media that those gentlemen, they are gentlemen, have ordered,
lawmakers.
Or lawmakers have ordered, so to speak, in communicating to Mr. Governor, that they give him a 48-hour ultimatum.
Absolutely.
Where did they derive that power from? Neither from the Constitution nor from the decision of the Supreme Court.
So do you think that does not? So what does that mean, really? What does that ultimatum? That's
it means nothing. It is absolute impunity. It is absolute legislative rascality, arrogance, and impunity, just as what is happening elsewhere. Thinking that they are God themselves because somebody is supporting them. It is absolutely unfounded in any consideration of law. It is not in the Constitution. The relevant sections that deal with these issues under our Constitution, everybody should pick up the Constitution and read. Begins with section 120, 121 of the Constitution. And nowhere in these provisions that vest power in the legislature to demand of the governor to come and lay before them. It is the governor that will notify them of his intention to come and lay the appropriation bill. And that's what happens, even in the National Assembly. Even where, yes, I agree that the Constitution expects that the governor would do this before the commencement of the next financial year or the expiration of the current financial year.
Yes.
But we know that in special circumstances in River State, the governor, conscious of that, performed that constitutional duty that in 2024, he prepared and laid an appropriation law before the River State House of Assembly, howbeit before the Right Honorable Oko Jumbo. So if today, just on Friday, the Supreme Court has said, lay an appropriation bill before a House of Assembly so properly constituted. For goodness sake, this was just on Friday. So it means, in essence, as if Friday was the beginning of this financial year. So if Friday was the beginning of this financial year, as now ordered by the Supreme Court, sometimes in courts, listen, Precious, what happened? You can actually file a process in court, right? And if that process has not been regularized, maybe you are out of time to file that process. You have already filed it anyway, and then you come to court to seek an order of court to regularize that process. That is to deem that process as properly filed and served. It is that date that the court grants that order to deem that process as properly filed and served that will become like the effective date for that person to respond, to actually begin to count his days to respond to that process. So, in essence, arguably, it means that Friday, just 3 days ago, would have meant like a new page for Mr. Governor to say, oh, I have to prepare another appropriation bill for the purpose of laying before the Rivers House Assembly. Then just over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and then these gentlemen or supposedly lawmakers on Monday are saying we give you 48 hours ultimatum. Who gave them that power? And let us also state that Section 122 vests the power in the governor that in the event that there is no appropriation law, which is the budget, so generally referred, in any financial year, that the governor shall continue to have the power to authorize withdrawal from the consolidated revenue fund of that state, even up to 6 months into that financial year, meaning that the governor of any state can continue to authorize withdrawals, that is, use money from the consolidated revenue fund from January up to June of a year where there is no appropriation law. So where is Martin Ameule and the others threatening again, trying to create another crisis that we are thinking should be dousing in River State? Precious, that's what I think I understand about the provisions of the Constitution, and of course the pretense and the purpose of assuming such powers by these gentlemen that have just been rescued. Remember, they have just been rescued by the Supreme Court just 2-3 days ago. Otherwise, they've been on the balance. And even right now,
have they actually been rescued? That's what I'm trying to say. Have they been rescued? Because I do know that there is a case that would speak on their legitimacy that is still before the courts, that the court is yet to hear. So have they been rescued? Because we'll never still know whether they still remain lawmakers because of their decamping to another political party. So have they really been rescued? That's on the one hand. But there's another question that
they are like a floating charge. And then sometimes in corporate law, they are like a floating charge where they are looking for where to actually perch. They are hibernating at the moment. So they really have not got a fixed place yet. So it's until all of these issues about the legitimacy of their membership, and then, of course, by extension, the speakership of Martin Ameule, are completely and effectually determined. Even the Supreme Court justices are aware that they have not effectually determined all of these issues because they reserve judgment on some of those appeals before the Supreme Court.
Okay, let me play this footage because earlier today we did hear that there was a bit of protests across River State, people protesting against the Supreme Court judgment. I don't know, you know that usually when there's protest in Nigeria these days, since 2022, 2020, in fact, let me say since APC's administration, make a talk about no they ready. Since the APC administration, Ayoyinka, I'm sure you know this, that whenever there is a protest, there's always a counter protest now. But this was not the case before APC came into power. But since APC came into power, once you protest, there will be a counter protest. So for now, I know say protest been there River State small, but people wait talk say they no go agree for waiting Siminalayi Fubara they go through. Let's watch it a bit, and then we'll also get the response of the governor of the state earlier today, where he did say that he's willing to pay the ultimate price, even if it means leaving office for peace to reign in River State.
Lagos State House of Assembly, I so nominate. Lagos State House of Assembly, I so nominate.
I'll try to get that video and I'm going to play it. But if you can, I'd like you to react to the conversation of can you react to the conversation of the yes, if you can, please. Yes, River State. Yinka, please.
I'll listen to Barrister so that I can try to get
to be a lawyer when you grow up.
More idea. Nigeria would not like me to be a lawyer because I will be worse than Danny. I know. I just hope they don't allow me to toe that line. I won't say I have the full knowledge of what's going on in Rivers because Lagos is an handful already. Okay. But there are some things that we can see that clearly are not democratic. Immediately, that man became governor. Wike was on his neck like he was owing him money. I don't understand. You have been a governor and now you are a minister. You even became minister. Everybody knows the story. Just stay in your Abuja and be doing your duty. Let the person that was elected do his work. If it goes against the constitution of the country, of the state, his lawmakers and the judiciary will deal with him. I don't know civil societies in Lagos, in Rivers rather, but Wike kept on, it was battle. I even wonder how he was able to carry out his constitutional duty. It was like he became governor to come and fight Wike, and all of a sudden we start hearing about House of Assembly, this House of Assembly, that. I don't know the full story of those that were reinstated by the Supreme Court today. But I was hearing something probably they were not the one involved in the last election. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, it is clear that there's so much influence on the judiciary system on this case. It is clear. I'm not excusing whatever the governor has done. Like I said, I don't know the story. So some people don't, when you start analyzing issues, some people say, oh, the governor also did this, the governor also did that. I don't have full information. But what I understand is that Wike is using his federal power on the affairs of Rivers State, which is a problem because we don't have an independent police system. That played out in the beginning. So much this police, it was so terrible and disgraceful and shameful. I don't know which of the building that they burnt, whether it was the House of Assembly that was burnt. I don't know. I know that something got burnt. Terrible. There were thugs involved. Terrible. Now there has been a court judgment. Well, while we are pretending that we are in a democratic segment where our judiciary is supposed to be independent and all that, and we accept the court judgment while we keep on fighting.
Okay.
The statement.
All right, okay.
Oh,
go ahead.
I'll end on this. The statement of the House of Assembly members say they are giving the governor 48 hours.
48 hours.
Is another joke. Just like he has said, it is your duty to checkmate the activities of the executive. The executive definitely know that they are going to come and present the budget. So yes, you can remind, we restated, when are we going to sit for the budget? And the executive will respond to you, we have done it. All right, we're going to do so date. But for you already broke fights already. Let's see how the issue of Rivers will continue to play out. But I want to tell him that he cannot be unconstitutionally impeached, if that is what it means. Because people are saying, oh no, it doesn't happen.
What do you mean by him being unconstitutionally impeached here? What do you mean by that?
Yes, people think House of Assembly members can just wake up and vote and say, Governor, we go. It is not as straightforward as that. It's not. There are a lot of processes. So because of 23 of us are back, we can impeach you. Yes, it's possible, and it's constitutional that any executive can resign and also get impeached, but it is not as straightforward as just, we are the full house. We just wake up tomorrow and we are going to impeach the governor. So he shouldn't be making such statements. Even though our election is terrible, he was still elected. He should serve his people as much as he can. Understand it, he's the governor.
You stop it. Do you have to say that even though our election is terrible, but he was elected?
Our election is terrible. I don't have any respect for people that win election in this country. Where you are sharing Gary, Indomie, and rice. There's not an election. Election is terrible, and you bribe this, bribe that, pay police, pay. It's a joke now. It's a joke. I'm ashamed to be a politician in this period.
Oh, please. So let's go back and play that short video about the subtle protest in River State earlier today. In some parts of River State, yeah. And no worry, River State, no pass song. They go sing song. So I make Wike get your own band.
Band.
So let's go and take a listen to that. Right. So, Barry Sekine, you know how our river state can be with court clashes and all of those that are for and those that are for against. What do we see playing out in River State moving forward while this power tussle between Fubara and Wike continues? As I said earlier today, reacting to some of this, Fubara has said that he's willing to pay the ultimate price. He's willing to leave office because that's the most that would happen, right? To pay the ultimate price for peace to reign in River State. And if you know Fubara, you know that this is not the first time he said that. He's said that before. So what is going? How this matter will take end at the end of the day?
You see, Precious, I sympathize with him. Without speaking for him or standing in for him, I mean the governor of River State, Sir Dr. Siminalayi Fubara. But I really do sympathize with him. We are lucky. I would say we are lucky since 2023 that he was the one that was elected the governor. If it were any other person, even amongst all of those that we heard were aspiring, seeking to get the mandates of their respective political parties, or if it were even the days that we had the former governor, I think with this kind of crisis, we probably would have had it worse in River State. Maybe we would have had situations where I wouldn't probably be here where I am. As we speak, I'm still in the office, and I'm comfortable that after this program, whatever, I will just drive home and businesses are going on. It does appear here like there is even no crisis. It's probably just happening between and amongst the legislators because everybody is going about peacefully. Schools are on. There are no threats. The courts are open. Recall that there were times that we had the entire court system shut down in this state for almost an entire judicial year. We have had times where there have been crises, real threats to violence, and everywhere people had to even stay at home and children were withdrawn from schools. But the governor today, I don't know how he's getting about this. I don't know how he's managing this. I also don't know how he's been advised, or perhaps his own composure, that we haven't got it that degenerating to the point that we can't go about our businesses. So even as we hear these ugly stories of political crisis in River State across the country, but River State remains the most peaceful, or if you like, one of the peaceful states, right? Today, that you can come in, you can fly into the airport and safely go back. You can come through the roads, you can come through the waters. All the multinational corporations, the oil and gas companies, they are operating, their expatriates are here. It does appear that it's even now that there is peace. There is, I think, almost high, I would say really peace, but it's worrisome because how are we getting this as Rivers people? What kind of reference? What's this? What's the image? What's the posture of River State amongst the committee of states in this country? One would imagine that if you position one state, perhaps Lagos, in the queue, you should have Rivers. Take away the center of unity, maybe Abuja, which belongs to all of us. But so what example are we really setting? What political example are we setting? What leadership example? How has this relationship really been from one former governor to another and then to another?
Absolutely.
It appears as a cultural thing, the political culture in River State.
From
I'm not
Peter
sure.
Odili to Amechi to Wike. Yes.
I'm not sure that Peter Odili, who served as deputy governor to Ada George, that when he came on in 1999, truly carried on his political, if you like, superior at the time before the transition, I mean, in 1999. What role did Ada George play in Peter Odili's administration, even as an advisor? I am not sure that I'm not sure that that happened. Then when Odili was exiting power, we remember the K-leg saga by Obasanjo at the Liberation Stadium. And then from later becoming governor, Rotimi Amechi, who was actually the candidate of that political party at the time, had his faith tested. And then it became one Celestino Mejia. And however, Rotary Amechi fought his way and then redeemed his mandate. I'm not sure they had any day, any time through his 8 years sitting or even seeking some form of advice from Peter Audley, his godfather, who indeed, of course, he was his assistant and later his speaker for the 8 years. So that political culture went on, and then when Amechi was almost exiting power, a certain Nyesom Wike, who was the chief of staff, almost a pseudo governor under Amechi,
Yes.
because Amechi gave him all the
very powerful. Yes.
all the leverage. And even
Yes.
he was the director general of the campaign of Amechi's second tenure. And
Yes.
they all served in that government. And Amechi even nominated him to be minister in Goodluck Jonathan's
Yes, Minister for State
administration.
for Education at that time he
But
was.
they went there and became like the albatross for Amechi, and they can't stop. Now, today, Nyesom Wike, who himself led the campaign, went around for Sir Celestino, Siminalayi Fubara, just a few months, 3 months after the gentleman took oath of office and assumed his duties. He wants him off. He wanted him out. And the battle, the crisis began. They are not talking today. That is a disturbing political culture, really, in Rivers State. And that shouldn't be what they, if you like, if there are politicians that are working and around them and watching this trajectory, whether they are going, then where are we headed? So you asked me, how are we going to get out of this?
Absolutely.
I think it's about being deliberate about it. It's about the people being deliberate about it. We know these politicians, just like we just in Lagos.
Yes.
We know all of those who are likely to become the next governor in Rivers State if elections are to be conducted today. Those who are likely to be the candidates of the respective political parties. We know them, but they are not the favorites of the people. However, they're going to smuggle themselves through, but they are not the favorites of the people. If you allow the people truly, they wouldn't choose them. But that's why I will get now down to the people. It is time the people begin to devise another political culture in Rivers State. If we do not like this, then we have to change it. We have to, yes, we know ourselves. We have to begin a new political culture. Shift this ground, a paradigm shift indeed, and say we want a new culture and new leadership that we will have to get people to talk amongst themselves. What is wrong in Amechi coming now to say, these were the dreams I had, but for time I was unable to fulfill them. So hey, you gentleman, young man, come. Siminalayi Fubara, come, let me give you some of those ideas. And consider them. If they align with your thoughts, then deploy them. What is wrong in Wike now coming to tell Siminalayi Fubara that there were some programs that I was unable to execute, some strategies I wanted to adopt, but I didn't have time to do them. And please, you can do them. And become like advisors to him and work with him. But you want to fight him for what cause? And that's why people say there must be something really behind the scene that Wike wants from Fubara and he isn't getting. And he wants Fubara out so that he probably will get someone in there who will probably answer him like he would want to answer yes, sir, at all costs and at all times.
All right. So right now, allocation for Rivers State has stopped. Workers are already working currently. How are they going to be paid? How's the governor ready to going to manage the situation? Because workers who work go collecting salary. How they go use receive salary based on say this allocation don't stop? In terms of the impeachment too of the governor, what do you think? What do you say the House of Assembly go fit do? Because Ayoyinka be don't talk, say go be very easy to impeach the governor. But what do you think they can really do? Based on the threats that are already pulling out.
My colleague has said it all here, and maybe I will only take through the procedure constitutionally. Let me say here.
Please do that. Please do that.
Let's understand. There is no House of Assembly that can start, and only amongst the members of that House, and only within the House, and remove a governor. That is none. Not at all. Forget all the threats.
Let's understand this, barrister, please. If that is the case, then why do governors like to have hold of the House of Assembly? If the House of Assembly cannot impeach a governor, then why do they like to have hold of the House of Assembly?
In the case of Nigeria, it wasn't even about the fear of removal. It's about the fear of being for public funds and appropriation of funds. When you see the governors arranging even those who will go to the House of Assembly, it wasn't quite about the fear as to whether they will remove the governors, but it's about having control of funds. Because I just told us here about one of the powers the legislature would have is to control public fund and oversight the appropriation of fund, and of course the utilization of funds that have been appropriated. Now, if it is about removal, it takes a House of Assembly to lay allegation of misconduct only. And when they do so, that allegation remains an allegation like every other allegation leveled against a criminal suspect that would have to be proven. They have the onus is on them to even be called to come and prove those allegations with evidence, with facts. And it means that a House of Assembly that desires to remove a governor will first lay allegation of misconduct. They will agree whether this allegation should be investigated. Even the investigation is not to be carried out by them. It is not one of those matters that the Privileges Committee of the House will hear. Otherwise, you will be a judge in your own cause. And the natural principle is that you cannot be a judge in your cause. You cannot allege somebody and hear him and determine his fate. So when they allege, they will move this allegation when they agree that it should be investigated and send it to the chief judge. The power of investigation is vested in a panel that the chief judge will constitute. And that power to constitute the seven-man panel is absolute and exclusive to the chief judge. It is not one of those persons that will also come back to the House of Assembly for confirmation. No, I was discussing with somebody and he was asking, but what if the chief judge constitutes the seven-man panel and they go to the House of Assembly? I said, no, they don't need to go to the House of Assembly. The chief judge has the absolute power. The only check is that whether these are men of integrity. And he says, I have performed my constitutional function. Upon receipt of the allegation, I have constituted the seven-man panel. The media will announce those seven-man panel. Then the panel will begin to sit. Precious, they have up to 90 days to do that work. So it's not even automatic as the snap of the finger that the governor is doing. So what it means that that's a quasi-judicial function that the seven of them will perform. It is like a court. They will invite the governor. They will send him his notice. They will ask him to send his own representation, that is to say, his own defense. He will take one paragraph after another to say, these allegations are frivolous, unmeritorious, they are unfounded. He will deny all of them. And when he so denies, the onus will shift to the members of the House of Assembly to come before that panel and prove it. So he has a right to even have his lawyers to represent him. Now, upon the hearing by the panel, if they are dispassionate, then they will form an opinion and make a report. That report is submitted to the chief judge. Two things will happen. If the report is such that these allegations are unfounded, the Constitution says that entire process ends there. The members of the House of Assembly, they will have nothing else to do. A finding that the allegations were unfounded, a report that the allegations were unfounded, ends that impeachment process. It is only when these seven men agree with the allegation and find the governor culpable of misconduct and submit that report to the chief judge that the chief judge will send it back to the House. And even when it gets back to the House will need a two-thirds majority to adopt that finding. But unfortunately for that governor, once that two-thirds majority is secured, and then they adopt that finding of the seven-man panel, finding him culpable, he automatically is removed. So you see this procedure, it is rigorous. It is tedious. It is sacrosanct. It means that it must be observed to the letter because there is a constitutional provision. The president cannot intervene. Political parties cannot intervene. It is no political solution. If indeed the legislators are determined to see it through, if it comes to the chief judge, it becomes something that the judiciary will see it through. So I don't see where some members of the House of Assembly will threaten, if you don't do this, we will impeach you. So what with your impeachment? Say if you don't do this, we will raise allegation of misconduct against you. And that misconduct must be something that is known to the Constitution. It is not about whether he doesn't sleep with his wife every evening if they want him to sleep with his wife. It is not about whether he doesn't discipline his children well. It has to pertain to the performance of his function as provided in the Constitution. Thank you.
That means there is no cause for alarm anyway. So, before I let you run very quickly, this Akpabio and Natasha's case, I would love you to chime in on it very quickly, because just today the Deputy Chief Whip of the Senate, Senator Onyekachi has said that dismissed Natasha's claim. He dismissed Natasha's claim that the Senate President did not touch her, that he followed them on that his birthday, and he followed them, he drove on the same convoy, and he went to the house. Remember, Natasha narrated exactly how this incident played out. How, when Akpabio was taking she and her husband around the tour to his house, what happened. But the Senate Chief Whip now say, Deputy Chief Whip say, Senate President Akpabio no do Natasha anything. Sister Natasha just the talk. And many people in the Senate seem to really garner favor. Seem to really speak in favor of the Senate President. How is this likely going to pan out? And what does it tell to the quality of people that we have in our upper chamber in Nigeria? Iwiki, I'm asking you, Senator Kine, before I let you go. Ayoyinka and I will still be around for a couple of minutes. Barrister Kine, can you hear me? Barrister Kine? Woody, I think his network is bad. Well, Ayoyinka, you could just jump in on that if you can very quickly. Well, I think he had a bad network.
Thank you very much. May it be well with rivers. As you have said that you are it's even your constituency. Your constituency that they do like this. Now, wow. Because of Wike and Fubara. Yes, for the Senate, they continue to turn us away from the issues, and that is always the most the funny thing about this politician. People that are supposed to focus on issues will not focus on issues. They begin to focus on frivolities. Akpabio has the right to respond, but his response, as we have said, should be on issues. If he responds clearly and he explained out the issue, stating that this woman is wrong, we will listen to him. The issue is not if Akpabio touched her or not. That is not the issue. Of course, that woman did not say Akpabio touched her.
So I'm wondering why the Deputy Chief Whip had to respond the way he responded. The thing shocked me.
That's not what she said. What she said is that he started asking her out December 2024. And he almost embarrassed her, even in the presence of her husband. But he did not end there. That he kept on stepping down a motion or attending to other motion and attending to our own last to now make sure that the motion does not pass because the time has already gone. And he kept on, and he was persistent. So she had to go and meet him in the office also. And he said, do the needful so that you will enjoy me. It is the fact that motion are not being passed for the favor of Nigerians because allegedly, let's use that word just to be fair to Akpabio.
To all concerned.
Akpabio wants to come, so because of that, our motion are not being passed. That is the issue.
All right, comrade. Okay.
Let Barrister go, please.
Okay, let's him go because I know that I still have you for a few minutes. Barrister Kine, please. I don't know if you heard the conversation, so would you like to just jump in on that very quickly? Yes. Go
Well,
ahead.
let me quickly say, you see, for whoever was standing in for the Senate president, let him wait until probably when there is any matter in court to come and be his witness. That's all I will say about him. Then maybe the next question I will ask him that, does he think that if the Senate president was going to harass Natasha or touch him anywhere, he was going to do that where all of them were? Are they talking to children? So also that he drove with the Senate president from the airport to his house,
And
and
Natasha
that
and her husband.
he can't say that he was with him every second of the way throughout, or that if Mr. President was going to ever harass the lady or any one of them at all, that it was going to be to the glare of everybody. That's the question for him to answer. But you know my concern and worry here. I did a work on enforcing women's rights, right? The constraints in enforcing women's rights, because in Africa. And at that time, when I researched the situation in the Senate, and of course the National Assembly of Nigeria in terms of women representation was far, far better than it is today. In a Senate of 109, there are just about 4 women.
4 women.
That alone, yes, that alone is unfortunate.
But it was better than this other times.
That's what I'm saying. It was better. When I did that, it was better. And then when I did the comparison in Africa, in most parliaments, in Botswana, for instance, there were greater numbers of women than we have ever had in Nigerian parliament. That should be a concern to us in this discussion.
Yes.
There were 4 women in the Senate, and that one of them is crying out. That is not to say to you're reasonable about the sentiments of Natasha, or for one to just be like, oh, defending women. But that should be a concern. That should also tell you what women are going through, even wanting to seek elected positions in Nigeria. With the experience of Natasha today, has not taken. Many women who may be preparing to want to aspire to go to the National Assembly for decency and for avoidance of this kind of harassment would want to turn otherwise, would not even want to come on. So if they have quality legislation to give to Nigeria, we will lose them. Some men would not even want to, if they were considering to even sponsor their wives to go to the Senate, with this experience of Natasha and this exposure, they will even think otherwise. That should be a serious concern. More than even all of this protection of one Mr. Senate President, because a certain woman is coming out to speak out. And in the human rights movement, in the CDHR, we enjoin every citizen to speak out, speak up, and stand up for your right. And of course, stand up for the right of another person. So I expect other senators who know the truth to be bold enough to stand up for the right of Natasha. It may be Natasha today. It may be another woman today, but it may be another person tomorrow. It may be your daughter tomorrow. Even those who are protecting Mr. President of the Senate, it may be your daughter tomorrow, who you may not be able to hold back if she's so convinced about changing the narrative in this country and want to be a legislator. We are praising our women who are legislators in the UK. I was watching Kemi, and she was speaking boldly in the House, in House of Commons in the UK. We are praising our women who are legislators in Canada. But back here, women will regret even being legislators, even when they succeed to be there. Look at what happened to Kingibe. Between her and the minister of the FCT, it wasn't a palatable experience. And just yesterday, it was Kingibe. That's one of the 4 women in the Senate. And today is Natasha. And the other 2 who are
in this case, Kingibe even supported Akpabio and said that Natasha is a problem.
That's what I'm saying. But yesterday she cried out. Today she's against her fellow woman. So for me, in all, it is one of the constraints that I discovered in my work. Okay, apart from the other cultural practices, legislation, and even the conditions of the political parties that are constraining, but this experience of Natasha, this woman has come up to say things that are factual. And I think even if people want to protect Mr. Let us allow him defend himself.
So do you think that this super has his wife?
He received phone calls at night. What was it for?
Yes.
She's factual. This is even when the investigators should go to work. Mr. Senate President does not have immunity. They can track their communication. They can track these phones. And you know what? Elsewhere, this reminds me of Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky.
Absolutely.
Precious. What happened in the world? What happened? This reminds me also in Spain, just recently, a coach of the female team in Spain.
Absolutely.
What happened? A bet. But it was a different story. These are societies that value women. These are societies that take women's rights as a special right. We argue in the human rights movement, human rights are human rights, no doubt. But there are special species of women that have come to have special rights for them. Children are one of those. Women are one of those. Disadvantaged persons are one of those. Minorities are one of those. Migrants are one of those. Prisoners are one of those. They are humans, but they have special rights. And that's why you have special instruments globally that protects, in addition, the rights of these individuals. You have the International Covenant for the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women, CEDAW.
Against women. Yes.
Where is it? We have mainstreaming of women issues and gender issues across the globe. We have the affirmative action. We have the agenda since 1993. Where are these issues in today's women in Nigeria? Where is the Ministry of Women Affairs? Where is the woman minister of women? Or do we have a man now in the Ministry of Women Affairs? So, Precious, I think for me, what is happening in the Senate is a serious concern. I say one thing. Leadership in Nigeria is not just about occupying public offices, but it's about your character. It's about your candor. It's about how you speak. It's about what you do with public office. I hear some of them saying, oh, some people are misunderstanding Mr. Senate President, that somehow that is how he talks. For goodness sake, you don't have to talk the way you want to talk. You talk the way Mr. Senate President has got to talk, not the way you have got to talk. So you don't talk maybe in a way that you're seducing women. You don't talk, hey, you're a beautiful woman, come, let me touch you. You no longer, if you talk in that manner with your wife in the house, and then your wife is saying, people are misunderstanding my husband. That is how he talks. That's how jovial he is. Then, of course, you have to be trained for leadership. And it means you're telling us that Mr. Senate President is wanting in leadership, because leadership is more than just occupying leadership positions, but being truly a leader and possessing all of the characters, the tenets, and the qualities of a leader. And thank you very much.
Okay, so do you think that you spoke about wife and family now? Do you think that Akpabio's wife's suit against Natasha would hold any water, considering that she's not the one that was directly accused, but her husband?
That's even another issue, because if she's raising a question about the assumed reputation of her husband, yes, she have a filial relationship with a man, being her husband, but the man is there. Whose reputation are we talking about? It's the reputation of the man, and in this case, it's a public figure. We are interested. I am interested. Let Mr. President, Senate President, vindicate himself. Not about protest in Akwa Ibom State by some women and bringing in cultural practices in Akwa Ibom State. The standing orders of the Senate are not the cultural practices in the Akwa Ibom State. The provisions of the Constitution that establish the office of the President of the Senate are not based on the cultural practices in Akwa Ibom State. So if women in Akwa Ibom are protesting that they respect their husbands in Akwa Ibom, so if your husband touches your box of a staff in office, then for goodness sake, what are we doing in this country? Are we joking? So let's see what that action will turn out in the courts. But of course, for me, I wonder which judge will be entertaining the matter that involves the number 3 citizen, who says, like Natasha will say, that I am the number 3 citizen. And I don't want to, in fact, let's leave all of those until he comes out to defend himself.
Thank you, Barrister Kine. But before you go, please, just one more thing. Hisba caught some people in the north that they were not praying. they did not fast, rather. They didn't enjoy the Ramadan fast. And plus the fact, say, the same Hizbah shut down school for Katsina State, say, make school they shut down. And can they protest, say, why Hizbah go shut down school? What's going to happen to Christian students when they go to school? Constitutionally, how do you react to this if we go by the law, so that Nigerians will understand the place of the law in situations like this? We're here to educate Nigerians and not just to shout and raise sentiments. And that's what I want us to speak to.
There's freedom of religion in this country, and that simply means that everybody has a right as to which religion and which religious practice and tenet to observe. And there is also provision in our constitution abhorring any state religion. So you cannot say that a state has adopted any of the religions in this country. Then his sorry?
They are Muslim states now. They are states we call Muslim states now.
Constitutional.
You know now. So we just say they go say, oh, these are Muslim states. You cannot do this.
You can have greater proportion of the population of people resident in that state observing that religion, but allow the other people to freely observe their religious beliefs. The same way, the right to freedom of association, the right to freedom of movement. Then that which we have jettisoned to chapter 2 of the Constitution, the right to education. Children should have the right to education. We should regulate these things with some sensibility, for goodness sake. If you're observing Ramadan, are we the only, is Nigeria the biggest of the Islamic countries in the world?
So that means that action is unconstitutional? Is that what you're saying?
For me, it's unconstitutional. It's a violation of the right of the Christians in that part of the country. For Christian children who are in school, if that state has adopted and domesticated the Child Rights Act, having the Child Rights Law, the children that are Christians in that state can take out an action against that institution, even if it's an agency of the state, even if it was established by a law in that state, and challenge it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Barrister Kine. I appreciate you. I have to let you go now because it's a bit late into the night. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for obliging my request. And I do hope that we do this continuously and continue to enlighten people. Thank you for coming to Update with Precious. Thank you so much. Comrade Ayoyinka, all right now. So maybe we'll start with waiting you be the talk about for Akpabio and Natasha case incident. Then we'll go enter inside his and other cases very quickly so that I can let you go into. And just to let Nigerians know, you can join the conversation just immediately Ayoyinka drops his thoughts. You can click on the link on the pinned post to join the conversation. It will bring you straight into the studio and you can join me live in the studio. You can also call the WhatsApp line that is pinned on the pinned chats on the comment section. Thank you. Go ahead, comrade.
Thank you very much for having me, and I appreciate Barrister too for all his thoughts. I'll go back to where I was, but I also want to go back a little to say that many people are guilty of this in their workplace and in political space. That is why they are silent on this issue. And so some women also that feel that we don't talk about it is embarrassing. They are also victims of all these acts of this kind of harassment. Harassment is not until when you touch somebody, and beyond harassment is also an unprofessional work attitude or work ethic in a professional environment. A Senate House is a professional environment, and you must treat your colleagues in a professional manner, and that is what we are after. That's what we are discussing. Some of us also have female colleagues. Some of us also have subordinates. I have subordinates that work with me. There's no way that I will ask one of them out and they will not answer. I will not be victimizing. No way. Yeah. Some of us will even tell you, don't toast people or ask people out in your workplace. It's a bit dicey, Even
you don't even date abroad.
Yes, because even if you don't victimize and all that, what if the person is asking special favors from you because you are the boss and she's the subordinate, and you do it, you don't do it for others? People will begin to read it's already unprofessional. But you left that and you are victimizing her because she's not playing balls, you know. That is what she said. And the Senate is saying they're not going to probe that. Why are you not going to probe that? Senator Godswill Akpabio is not passing motion in the House because he asked the woman out and she said no, it should be probed. Not only that, if there's any other people that is doing that even within the House, but they don't want to embarrass somebody. They want me to be silent over it. Why? Why should we be silent over such? This is a matter of national security. Yes, it is a matter of national security that you are harassing a woman, and she's not just a woman, she's a Senate in the House representing Kogino Central, if I'm correct, and you are not passing, and she's talking about a bill that involves Ajaokuta and all that. You are not allowing this bill to pass through, this motion to pass through, because you are saying, you are acting now. If she's lying, Akpabio should defend himself. And I said it in a write-up I dropped, and I'm saying it here again. If somebody that I asked out, whether at work or outside of work, and the person said no, and I move on, doing my work professionally without any issue, and the person comes out and say, I'm victimizing her because she asked me out, and there's nothing like that, why will I be silent? Why? There's no crime in asking somebody out. See, the only immoral thing here is that she's married. That is between him and the husband. That one is not my business. Any Nigerians that care about that, you are not a serious person. That is not a national issue. That a man asks out a woman's wife. It's not a national issue. It's a personal issue. The husband should not be fighting a Akpabio. That is not my business. Okay. My business is that the motion was not passed. You know, why is Akpabio silent if he's guilty? Like I said, if someone does that to me, I will speak out.
But his wife has spoken on his behalf now. Why? His wife has spoken on his behalf.
Why should he be putting his wife in the middle of such mess?
So is the wife, now.
Is the wife the person? Is the wife his PA? He said, oh, I can imagine. Why is he putting a woman against a woman? If his wife, for me, what I felt that happened is that, my dear, please go and speak. His order, he gave her order. Move, press conference. So tomorrow, if another woman accuse Akpabio of asking her out, the wife will do another press conference. That's her job. So it doesn't make any sense. Akpabio should tell us if he laid down that woman's motion because of that or not. That is what we want to hear. Not all this jokes.
Thank you. So Comrade Ayo, let's quickly get to what's happening in the north with the Hisba issue for people we know grief fast, and the fact say can now they talk say why you not go shut down school in Katsina State school where the schools were shut down. Bauchi State governor say they shut down school for the whole 30 days of Ramadan. Then Katsina State they shut down school because they are fasting. And then Christians in that area, Khan is protesting. People will say Khan has been docile for a while. They haven't been talking. But now that they've said something, should they be treated seriously or not?
Well, whether they are docile or not, the issue that they have raised is an important issue. Is this truly one Nigeria? Is this one Nigeria? We should ask ourselves that a state or some states we shut down educational activity because some people are fasting. It doesn't make any sense. Nigeria is not a Christian state. Nigeria is not a Muslim state. Nigeria is not a traditional state. Religion is the right of everybody, but the country is not owned by any religion. What you have is freedom. The freedom is that they can carry out their fasting. The freedom is that at their school, their teachers and their principals and their headmaster will know that some set of students are fasting and they will give them some privileges while they are there. Oh, this is your time to pray. Oh, this is your time to eat. Oh, you can rest a little. That is it. But shutting down an entire school system because you are fasting is wrong. It's unconstitutional. It makes no sense. Do Christians shut down schools when they are fasting? Don't Christians fast? There are some set of Christians that do January 1st, 31 days in the
some even do 100 days. Yes.
Some do 100 days. And
some do 40 days. 40 days length.
Yes. Catholics who stand their length. Are all these different sets of Christian groups start shutting down schools because they are fasting. Are these people not thinking? So is this truly one Nigeria? If we are not one and we can't be one and we are sure we can't be one, why don't we sit down and discuss how we can manage this division? But we are refused to discuss how we can manage division. We continue to shout one Nigeria, one Nigeria, one Nigeria, and somebody will just wake up and declare that school closed. For how long? For a month. Children will not go to school because some people are fasting. Shame on those governors. These are backward men that find themselves in power.
All right, so still speaking about the North, we heard that the terrorists suspected to be members of Boko Haram ISWAP yesterday, Sunday, abducted a professor. His name is Abubakar El Juma, I think, of the Nigeria Army University, BU, and other passengers. And the incident took place along the troubled Damaturu BU Road near Kamuye village. And as if that wasn't enough, there was still yet another incident concerning whether you call them protest bandits or Boko Haram right now, because residents of GBR local government area of Katsina State have reached a peace agreement with armed bandits in a bid to end years of violence and insecurity in the region. Katsina State. You'll recall that not too long ago, Kaduna State also reached peace agreement by negotiating with bandits. It wasn't so long after they negotiated with the bandits finished. The bandits said, another attack. Another attack again. And then they can't talk. So when they hear from the Kunkum, say the state government, they try hide that attack, then when the bandits attack, because you go there like say, they're embarrassed and say, I just get peace deal with these people. They don't call the attack now. Now, Katsina States now don't come get the same agreement with these bandits them again. What is the possibility that these same people will not renege on the agreement that they've had with Katsina State government, like they did with Kaduna State? Not once. People would say it's been quite a number of times they've done that.
Since the beginning of Boko Haram, from Zamfara to Katsina to Kaduna and to all the major states affected, but no, they have been negotiating and reaching agreement with bandits, Boko Haram and terrorists. Not once have this attack stopped in any way. Apart from the fact that it's embarrassing that you are negotiating peace with terrorists that you will never do with peaceful protesters, the fact that these things even don't amount to anything and you continue to do it, it shows how much we have lost our society. Everyday adoption. Basically, I'm tired of following the news of kidnapping and adoption. I'm tired because it is almost like a regular song and nobody seems to care. In a sane society, if one person is adopted, the entire security agency of that region and the entire country will be on fire. But no. The army, and remember, this is the same country that they have told us we have ended Boko Haram. I don't know how many times that has come out in the news.
Over and over again.
What is left is bandits. Another time they will come, we have ended bandits. But what are left is kidnappers. But the people that they have ended, they keep coming back bigger and stronger. Shame on Bola Ahmed Tinubu. With the security structure. Yes, he's the president. The box stopped at his table. He's the commander-in-chief. I'm telling you what I will do. I'm the commander-in-chief of the entire armed forces. If they are kidnapping citizens day in, day out, under the regime of any chief of army staff, I will terminate his appointment. That is my job. Let me employ a general that is telling me he can do this work. I'll terminate his appointment. Even if it's a lieutenant that say, sir, I'm going to head these people. Give me the opportunity. I'll give me the opportunity. I will promote him. But these people are not taking any important decision. You just call them into Aso Rock and they will sit down. They will snap picture. Wear their beautiful clothes. They will go back again. People will continue to die. Same template of Buhari. People are dying. They will come, do meeting, sit down, like anything will happen, go back again. People continue to die. Nothing is happening. No solution. Now it's a military man that they have also kidnapped. It is regular. It's basically almost every month. I don't even know how journalists are keeping up, with the statistics. I
With
cannot
this
keep
news
up.
every day, I'm telling you,
I
it's
cannot
crazy.
keep up. I cannot keep up. So I don't, and I don't. There's no analysis on what to tell people to even do. What are you going to tell them? Are you going to tell them to go and carry cutlass or carry gun? How many guns will they carry against these kidnappers, these terrorists? What we can only advise them is they should come out and protest and make noise so that these people in power, are useless as they are, at least we do something. People are dying unnecessarily. The security situation in this country is beyond terrible, and nobody is taking responsibility. That's the worst. Nobody. Not the chief of army staff, not the army in that area, not the cantonment in that area, not the president. They are silent, traveling, and enjoying themselves. Probably they'll be in Canada now, if not because they were rejected the other day.
But Ayo, you know why this day very worrisome? The same president, anytime we be a person die for another country, now they be one of the first
Oh, yes.
to which to compare commiserate with those countries. Tell them say, oh,
yes.
sorry. Meanwhile, someone may have died, or people may have died just the day before in his country, and he's yet to comment.
Yes.
Is it that we value lives less in our country? Our Nigerian lives don't really matter? What could really be the problem?
During the Buhari's time, Buhari was the minister. Oh no, it was not Buhari. Oshibaji was doing it on his behalf. Buhari was the minister of, I assure you, he was the minister of, I'm going to strike this kidnapper. I was always making statements on Twitter. There was a time he even said, we have been gentle enough with these terrorists. He was using different English. I wonder who is his Twitter handler. But Oshibaji was the chief consoler of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Once there's a death, he will console. Oh, we commemorate with those that died. They were doing it regularly. In fact, there was a time that Lawani traveled to whether Borno where they killed 200 people like chickens. But this regime have stepped up. Just like Tinubu said, it will continue for where Buhari stopped. This time around, no even consolation, When somebody died in Canada, they will release statement. In Paris, they will release statement. Or one Oba loses his wife. We are sorry that we lost. But when citizens are dying because of your irresponsibility, because of you are not doing your duty as the president of the country, which is an impeachable offense, when people are dying under your watch, they take their eyes away. It's simple. It's the fact that they do not want these issues to be reported. In fact, the security situation in this country is underreported. They are terrorists surrounding Abuja, kidnapping people in Abuja, like they are picking sand from the floor. That's how easy it is to kidnap in Abuja now. There are terrorists surrounding your area, close to the governor's house. Sheyi Makinde has cried one time. So security terrorists, Boko Haram is all around us, swimming like a water. And the president is going from France to Germany to Canada. Nigerians should wake up and demand better. Because I'm telling you, and I'm not saying it because it sounds nice, Tinubu can do this all day. He can do it all day. Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's not moved. That's how these people can be very, very
not moved by people's death, not moved by people's death, by lives.
Another 200 die tomorrow. It's not moved. You travel again.
Are you serious?
You can do this all day. So the question to Nigeria is that, are we going to die all day? Are we going to continue to die like this? He can do this all day. They prefer you die and you don't talk. Don't worry, just die. Don't worry. Do you forget during Buhari's regime when Senator Tinubu was in the house and a senator from Kogi, Smart, was shouting,
yes.
And people are dying. Do you know what she said to him? He said, "What's your business? Are they your people? Is it your party?"
Oh.
She said it. They are video recording. The wife, the present
first lady.
First lady.
Our present first lady.
It's not my first lady. I don't have first lady. It's not a constitutional thing. I don't have many first lady. So what do you expect from them that they are not empowered? They can do this or you will die and die. It's not their business. They will continue to enjoy and travel. But can you continue to die like this? Nigerians should rise up. Can't continue like this. People are dying. I don't have gun. I'm not in charge of security. I can't solve the problem. The only thing we can do is to tell people to use their voice. If you give them enough hot protest in that your region that you are dying like chickens, they have no choice than to do something. Even if they are not going to do something very competent, but at least they will not be able to look away like they are doing now. Because look away that they are doing for us. And ransom, paying ransom and contributing. The youth leader of whether it's Afenifere or whatever, he just got released. We wonder how much was contributed.
Thank God he wasn't killed.
Oh, thank God. For many as we can, I don't even like saying thank God. Because what am I going to say to those that have died? It's just fortunate to be alive. Fortunate. The other lady that was a copper, millions also, was what was requested for her. She even told that they wanted to marry her, that they will marry her off. Why should we continue in this misery? And this is a country that have gone to fight wars in other countries and won. Nigerians, I mean, that have gone to face Russia at one time, come to South Africa for peacekeeping, go to Liberia, come to different countries, Congo. But in your own country, you cannot save. And our people are dying anyhow. Human being. It's sad.
All right, so going back to some things really happened for Lagos State, and this one earlier the trend because of say he did cry when Mojisola Meranda when he try beat that fair way, they cry. People can say this one I really cry because they show your Nollywood skills. Remember saying that from Nollywood to bring you come up here. I be they cry because of say you really like Mojisola Meranda. Which one be the shape of this your cry? Oh my goodness, what do you see playing out in Lagos? How do you see this? Trajectory evolving in Lagos State. Meanwhile, when I get to show the bridge, we want full fail, where people they cry, see, show the bridge, don't they collapse? So say bridge no strong again for show you, because they don't close one bridge, another bridge where the only functional bridge, the crowd where they that bridge. I should play that footage of that crowd in that bridge.
I saw it live.
So should the House of Assembly not be up to their responsibilities and ensuring that they did something about all of this?
You want to play it because I want to laugh.
I will play. I'll play. Just go ahead and be talking.
I saw it live. And, when I saw it, what's going on here? People were just laughing. The crowd on that bridge. The crowd. Massive crowd. I was even scared for them. I will never climb it. If I was the one, I would rather go out
because he may have collapsed at any moment.
I do not trust even the structural strength of the one that they did not close down. Bridges are beginning to collapse in Lagos. There was one at before Solo. It just caved. They have not done it now. Now they have put a bumper on that road so that cars can be slowing down for people to. But that the car are driving out. And how old is this structure? It's not the wrong structure that should be getting failure on time. That means it was poorly constructed, So, but for me, these are not issues. These are issues that can be done in 2 days. Bridge, what's bridge? I can construct in 2 days. But we don't have a serious government anyway. But for Desmond Elliott, like every other House of Assembly members, they are boy. That is the word out there. Boy.
But people expected him to really do much.
Well, I didn't expect to. Everybody is expecting. I don't know why Nigerians. I don't know why Nigerians begin to. What are you expecting from people that were given the ticket and to go and serve a master? They are not there to serve you. What are you expecting? No matter the number of years those people are there. They are not there for the interest of the people. You cannot win under the power of a godfather or a party without the people and go there and work for them. What vision do they have? They are just boy, is crying. You do it standing there to go and cry. Sometimes when I hear that one position is crying, I don't begin to wonder, what do you want to use your tears for? Am I your wife? Why are you crying? You crying for me?
So let's play that video very quickly. And then, guys, let's just let you know, thank you for joining us on this live. Let's let you know that you can join in the conversation. The idea of this is for us to just jump in and keep speaking about things that affect our country, policies of government actions and inactions, how they affect us. We can't stop talking, like Comrade Ayoyinka have said, until we take decision. And it is this talk or series of talks that will evoke the right emotions in us that would make us ensure that we take that decision that we look forward to taking. Let's
Does it make sense? Look at this one.
On one bridge. Okay, so you can jump in on the conversation. Kindly drop your comments under. You can also call us on WhatsApp on the pinned post. The post, the number to call is on the link. Is on the pinned message. Right on the message section. The number is 0817-029-4077, 0817-029-4077. You can only call that on WhatsApp or just click jejely on that link that you see there. When you click on that link, the link will take you straight to the house and you join us straight in the house here and joining on the conversation. So if you want to join the conversation, just click on that link that is on the pinned post and it will direct you straight to the house and you can drop your thoughts. We've discussed quite an area of conversations today. We looked at Lagos State politics and the removal and replacement of Obasa and the removal and replacement, the replacement, the installation of Meranda and removal of Meranda, and then the removal, the uninstallation of Obasa and reinstallation of Obasa. It's just crazy. And reinstallation and the River State politics and Walai and the River State politics and all of this. But let me take some reactions here. Okay, Abedimi was saying that your headline is not correct. Fubara didn't say he would leave office. What he said is that he will lead the front line. Well, just go to read that link on them. Vanguard. He did say that he's ready to pay the ultimate price to ensure that there is peace in River State. And this is not the first time he has said that. He has said that before, that even if it means him leaving office for peace to reign in River State, that he's willing to do that. So kindly look that up. Ike Chuku says, Nigeria is just a joke. I wish it wasn't, but I can't even say anything. Also, Biafra 147 says, Nigeria is fraud and death trap against one Nigerians. He said Biafra is your future and going back. Opera Cornelius says advice committee are criminals that is not healthy to democracy. Nathaniel Abu says, by the time Tinubu and APC finish with Nigeria, I pity people that chose tribe and religion over competence. Let's enjoy our choice. Hell, Chingy Tim says, all these things happening in Nigeria, government, the Nigerian government in this regime, is it not half of what happened in 90s before the military took action in 1966? And it has gotten worse than this in 2025. Did you hear that? That what's happening in Nigeria now was not even up to half of what happened in half of this didn't happen in the 90s before they took over office. Adeyemi says Lagos politics is a joke. Thank you, Comrade Ayo. Blessing says there is no democracy in Nigeria. Adeyemi says, Onyeka says democracy and good governance is long gone in that country called Nigeria. Nigeria is really a sorry state. I wish I can say otherwise. Sylvester Ikeneye says, wow, Lagos State is just a joke. Let me know someone, tell me how someone can swallow his cough back after coughing it out. It is so shameful. I beg, who come out in cough, can they cough and back again? Can they swallow and back? All right, Ganiyu Bakari says, if the decamped lawmakers are forced to come and God, Fubara resigned, he'll become a hero and his respect will remain forever. Kak Mwachineke says, apart from the government, who else has the constitution? Who else has the constitution helped apart from government? I just wish I can tell you that the constitution has actually helped more people than the government, but it's unfortunate. Remy Oladimeji says, well done, Comrade Ayoyinka. Benjamin Alaito says, River State is on fire. Tinubu game plan is working. River State and Lagos in a pocket already. Do you think that the idea is perhaps to create a state of chaos in the state so that they'll declare a state of emergency in River State? Because that's what some insinuate.
Yeah, so politicians, when I use politician, I always like to use that word very carefully so that Nigerians will understand that that's not how politicians are supposed to be. But politicians in Nigerian context do not play one game. They play different games. So it's a triangle.
Hmm.
So they spread here, they spread here, they spread there. Whatever works is one game plan. But they know that if you play one game, you might lose that one. So play different games. All what is going on, I can tell you, is because of 2027.
Because of 2027.
Everything that's going on. Everything entirely because of 2027. Tinubu have already started buying a lot of people to his hand as much as he can. You get, he's discussing with all governments. He wants all governments to be on the side, you know. The issue is that Wike saw that Fubara was not listening to him anymore. For Tinubu to win Rivers again, Wike still has to be in charge. Tinubu did not win Rivers because of he won Rivers. It is a Wike factor.
It's the weakest factor.
Yes. And Wike factor cannot work if the governor is not ready to play balls. So everything. So that is why, see, if Wike is doing something that the federal government is not interested in, the federal backing that is getting, it will not get it now. Is Wike the finance minister? Why are they stopping allocations for Rivers? Why? For what reason? Because not the finance minister now. There's no law that said because the House of Assembly is not functioning, that the allocation of a state should not drop. There's no law such. There's no law of such. There are contingency for everything to be checkmated. But because Wike is pushing it to them and they support what he's doing, that is why. So everything is a game toward 2027. Whatever plays out, everything is state of emergency. They get the House of Assembly. They get Fubara out. Everything is a 2027 issue. Same thing for Lagos. Same thing for Lagos. You know, so that is what it is. And Nigerians need to understand that you cannot allow them to continue to play these games over your head. Just like
You're supposed to wise up.
You have to wise up and create another political system for yourself. Not watching their game and laughing and enjoying it and saying, no, you must create another system for yourself. The system that they do not know how to play, the system that they do not like. So that we can get it better. We can't continue in this manner.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Comrade Ayoyinka. I appreciate you deeply for making out time to join me on this live. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much for making out your time. And I appreciate you. I do hope that someday, very soon at that, would indeed get to that Nigeria of our dream. But we can't stop talking. I used to tell people here that when we stop talking, is when we start dying. We're already dying even while we're still talking. So we can't stop talking so that we don't die more than we're dying already now. I appreciate you big time for joining me on this live. Thank you so much. I have to let you go. I know you extended your stay already, and it means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Looking forward to you joining us another time. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. All right, Nigerians, you can join in on the conversation. You can jump in on the conversation. Phone lines are open. WhatsApp messages are also open for you to join in on the conversation. Very, very, very briefly, you can click on the link on the pinned post, and it will direct you straight into the house to join the conversation on right here in the house, so that we can let you in on what's going on. You can air your thoughts, your reactions on what's going on this conversation. And just to run you through some of the things we've looked at so far, we did look at the Obasa's case. We started chronicling the case of Obasa from how the Meranda team were having, they were having a meeting, holding a meeting outside the assembly complex. And Obasa's team stormed the meeting space outside the assembly complex. And then to inside the assembly where Meranda eventually resigned and Obasa was nominated. And then Obasa was sworn in as the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly again on the 10th Assembly. Again, Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly again. And then we went from there to other issues too. We did go from there straight to the River State issue, which spoke about the River State House of Assembly giving Siminalayi Fubara, the governor, 48 hours ultimatum to represent the 2025 budget or face impeachment. 48 hours. And we've had a constitutional and human rights lawyer here, Barrister Kine, speak to us about the place of the constitution in that conversation and that threat, as it were. And he did, if you've not watched that or you didn't watch that earlier, you can go back to watch what he said there. He spoke a lot about that and what the place of the constitution is. Oh, by the way, we still have the issue of electricity and telecom multi-choice tariff hike and how Nigerians are knocking NLC. NLC has been threatening to go on strike. We go strike. But Bill, I said it's strike. Then they see I'm go finish. We'll look at that conversation shortly. Yes. Then we also did speak to Boko Haram kidnapping a university professor and other people in Borno State, and to Katsina State community holding a public meeting with bandits. And these bandits, as they hold this public meeting, I may not see them all. They never surrender, and I may not see them to arrest them and to bring them to book. They were having a public meeting with bandits. Oh dear, let's not even go there. Okay, Afenifere Group is saying that we should not sacrifice Akpabio on unproven allegations and that it must be investigated. Is Akpabio being sacrificed on unproven allegations? I don't know, your guess is as good as mine. And there's also a conversation around the deputy chief whip saying that it's a lie, Akpabio no touch her. Oh, I was there with them from the airport to everywhere he took her on tour to the house. Akpabio did not touch her. Okay, we've also had the lawyer and our guest Ayoyinka react to that conversation. And then we got to where Siminalayi Fubara, the governor of River State, saying that he's ready to leave office, pay the supreme price for River State. That's what he did say. We've looked at all of these issues. Phone lines are open on the pinned post. You can join us. Just click on that link on the pinned post. It brings you straight to the house. Or you can call on WhatsApp 0817-029-4077. 0817-029-4077. If you call that number on WhatsApp, you can join the conversation, or you join live by just clicking on the link and it directs you straight to join the studio. So let's look at that story about electricity tariff and Nigerians reacting. As Nigerians have continued to grapple with several policies considered to be unfavorable, inhumane at some point, the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, has come under scrutiny because of this. Now, it was reported that the NLC, which was hitherto known for its formidable force, holding the government and private sector accountable, recently lost its influence due to a series of empty threats that have over time yielded little or no results. You remember that from the fuel subsidy removal to the increase in tariff, in fact, the banding of electricity from band A to all that, and the increase in band A tariff to all other issues, NLC have barely, spoken. They spoke, but didn't really, do much. Now, to some Nigerians, the NLC that commanded a huge respect in the days of Michael Umodu, to Alhaji Hassan Somono, to Alhaji Ali Chiroma, and Adam Sushimole, and, and all of that. And that particular NLC right now is dead. Prior to the resignation or the resign to the reign of Joe Ajaero as NLC chairman, the Congress was known for its powerful advocates for the middle class, ensuring that policymakers did not trample on the rights, especially rights and welfare of citizens, particularly the Nigerian workers. But that's not the case. In fact, before Joe Ajaero said, he was already a problem. You remember? Mm. Now, the NLC no longer commands respect at all. Anytime you hear that NLC wants to go on strike, now people will be like, which strike? Yimu, which NLC? Which strike? So do you think that NLC really is a toothless bulldog right now? Kindly drop your comments on the comment section. I thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining this conversation tonight. I love you all. We'll continue to do this, to speak, so that our country will indeed get to that level that we all desire and look forward to. My name is Precious Inyi. I love you guys so much. Of course, always ensure you protect your mental health because it's very paramount and very important. I'll see you tomorrow evening, God willing, at 5:30 p.m. Have yourself an amazing evening. Good night.